Hi, it's Brian here from Brian's vlog. As you know, I do a lot of videoing now to get me out of the house, and I got the Insta360 video camera, Insta360 1X video camera. And what I'm looking at here is the ISO app on my iPad. It's in my workflow. It seems to be the quickest way of getting your videos done before you do any other edits on the computer, and it also helps with the file sizes. So I'm in the ISO app, and I found that the first thing I want to do, I downloaded the footage from the camera to the app, because you can download it to local, which is what I've done. I've downloaded it onto the pad. But what I found really easy to do, good thing to do, is get the initial viewpoint set, in this case there, and I can pinch the screen and do that. It gives you sort of a small world, but don't do that. Just keep it simple, right? So there, and I'm just looking at the general picture quality at the moment, because it can be a little bit bland, I find. So at the top there, you'll see like a downward arrow next to the second one along. I'm going to press that, and it gives you these options down here. And what I like to do is go into adjust, which is there, go into saturation, and I like to boost it a little bit, so you can take it right up and it gets really high. I like it. I do like it high, but it can look a bit sickly if you go too high, but I do like it quite high, and I'm quite happy with that. So I'm going to press the tick button at the top. Sometimes I forget this step, I must say. I'm going to go back in there because I want to see what else we can do. We can trim, and you can see there's speed as well. That's where you can do that hyperlapse effect, which is handy. I won't do that just yet, so I'm just going to press the X and discard any changes, because I've already saved the other one, I think. Right, so let's get down to the actual footage. I'm on this view here. You see this little man down here? That can set you a viewpoint, or you can just touch and hold the screen. You see how it's, now you get those options, and now you can pivot. Now I used to do it this way, but what I find is, let me just play forward a little bit, like there. If I want to change the view, say I want to see what's going on at this angle, and I touch the screen, you see how the screen moves? It's moved. So I started to think, I don't like that. So let's get back. Hold on. Oh, that didn't work, did it? Because it's there. Right. Okay. So you see how it's moving now to that position. That's fine. But the screen moved a bit, and I didn't want that. I wanted it where I put the screen. So let me just go back, because you can delete these points. See how if I go to that point there, it's got an X there. I can press it, and I should get a little bin. Oh, that's it used. I'm sure it's given me a little bin before. Anyway, you get the X and you can delete it. So let's just go back. There's that point there. You see it's there. Anyway, so let's go. We're walking down the road, and I want to look at this car there. But if I just press that little man, see how now the screen hasn't moved? I can just press the pivot point. Yeah. So if I go back, get to the viewpoint, it starts moving straight away. But what if I didn't want it to move straight away? I've got 2 points there, but I don't want it to move straight away. So let me just delete that point and show you a good way of doing it. So we're looking down the road, we're walking. I want to get to that car, so I'm going to stop there. I'm going to add a pivot point, and I'm going to play forward a little bit, just to give me a bit of run time. Now I'm going to look at the car. I'm going to add a pivot point by pressing the man. There's my pivot point. So what I've done in effect, I've used this point here as a holding point, as it were, just to give me a bit of footage of me looking down the road. So I want it to look down the road before it starts to turn, and then it'll look at that car. And I'm walking and walking. Now I want to pivot back down the road, because I think I'm putting the camera behind my head at this point. but I don't want it just to look at the car and then sweep back, do I? So I basically add another pivot point and don't do anything. Now I'm going to play forward a little bit, and whilst it's doing that I want to see what's going on in front of me. So about there. So let's add a pivot point there. Now I know there's a big gap now between these two pivot points, but let's see what happens. Here we go, looking at the car, I'm sort of holding that position. Now it's going to start the turn. See how it's nice and smooth and slow? Because there's a big gap. So I'm walking down the road at this point. You can pause it at any time and look around. See if there's anything interesting going on. Just carry on walking down the road. Now this blue car's mucking about, so let's see what we're doing there. Before we turn, let's add like a marker, a point. We're walking sort of past it a little bit there, but now we want to make sure that we've got what we want to look at. So let's add a pivot point. Carry on walking. There we go, it's moving that shot a little bit, so let's add a pivot point. There we go. Like so, I'm going to hold it there, that position for a little bit, rather than it sweep back straight away. And about there, we can start bringing it back. And I add a pivot point there. So that should be a good little sequence going on there, so let's have a look. Walking down the road. There you go, there's the car. Held it a little bit and we start bringing it back. Like so. Now you get the general idea of what I'm doing. I'm thinking ahead where I don't want it to go look at something and then immediately start turning again. So you've got to think about trying to hold that position for a few seconds before you start moving again. I also found that if I move the camera around too much, it actually looks overdone. Like, because you can go a bit mad with it, and it's really easy to go mad with it because it is fun. See, like here, I'm walking down. I am going to lower that camera in front of me in a minute. There you go. And now it's sort of ahead of me, and that would be a good shot because the camera's gone low. But I don't want to do that shot straight away, do I? Because otherwise it's just going to flip. So let me just set that up so it comes in front of me. I want to do it there, so I'm going to take it back just a few there, add a pivot point, so I'm locking that position, play it forward a little bit. I'm going to make this quite a quick turn now, so there, and I want it sort of looking in that direction because we get some really funny looks from people. So I'm going to try and pivot point that and see what that looks like. So there you go. Right, we're walking down. I'll start moving the camera because I'm moving it in front of me. There you go. It's a nice transition shot. Although, go back to this point here. I want it probably. Let me just delete that point because I want it a little bit up because it missed my face, didn't it? Right. Okay. And play. There we go. Moving out of the way of some people. It's like I've got a battering stick in front of me. Like so in this instance, I'll try not to pan now too much. I'm trying to give the viewer a rest from all my movements, because you can go over the top with it. But here, you see, I'm losing the focus. So let me just move it back a little bit. Gonna start about there. Just add that point because I'm locking it in. Because what I want to do, see how the camera's moving now. I want to move that back into position, but it's I want it to be very subtle. So we're walking. For some reason, I'll start moving the position of the camera when I'm walking. There you go. It's very subtle. And it's walking down the road. That noise you can hear in the background is my fan. And there you go. So that's that's good. And now what we can do is we can add hyperlapses and stuff if you want to add the hyperlapses, but I won't do that in this video. I'll do it in another one. I found a few problems with the hyperlapse as well, but I'll cover that in another video. You see my face is a little bit orange, but that's because I increased the saturation there. I can correct that in other software if I wanted to, or I could just go into the saturation and take it down a little bit and stuff and play with the settings. There's loads of different options you can do, but this is how I was doing the positioning, because it's just quick and easy to do it on this app and then export it. Then I'll do the other edits in on the computer or the laptop. See, I like this sort of shot because it was very subtle how we did the change. Now I've got a smile on my face, which is unusual. There we go. Yeah. And that's how it's done. And then all I need to do is stop that, and at the top here you see that export. It's the second one from the right there. I could export that to album, say, and you get a choice now. You can export it with the fixed frame. That's with all our edits, or you can export it as a 360 video, which will be just, you know, it'll be sort of unwrapped as it were, and for you to edit on the computer and stuff. So I'm just going to press tick on that, and now the reason I like this is because now it's going to export it as a video file, so it's going to make it easier to work with now. And I've got all my, you know, all those viewpoints that already done, so I don't have to worry about that. And I've done a bit of prep with the color, and this doesn't actually take too long to save and export to my pad, so I quite like that. And then I just sort of airdrop it to my Mac, because it's just quick and easy to do it that way. The only problem with this workflow is that you're ending up with duplicate files, and obviously these files are quite big, so you've got to delete them at some point. So when you get to a certain point in your workflow, you have to think about deleting some of those files, otherwise it's just going to build up. Obviously you get them onto an external hard drive or something, but you don't want multiple files. You might, I think it's good to have the original unwrap copy, and then have a copy of the finished edited copy, I think, at the moment. But that's sort of my workflow at this time. Anyway, I hope you found that helpful. It's just really a quick edit, some little tips there about holding that camera position before it moves again. Also I find, like I said, it make the viewer a bit dizzy if you keep moving it too much, but it's really easy to overdo it because it's really fun playing around with it. I'm sure the fun novelty will wear off eventually, and then I won't have to make people feel dizzy on my videos. it's just, you know, I think it's quite fun. Anyway, I'll do some more edit videos, you know, to show you how my edit routine as I go, just to, you know, help with familiarization and stuff like that. So I hope you found that helpful, and yeah, talk again soon. Take care.